So we're betting a lot of this on us. And it's important to everybody, Anglos, non-Anglos, meaning, and mutually. I mean, just as I appreciate the role that those senior Anglo citizens have and how much they protect us right now, even we don't really see it. Even if they protect their interests, many of them are equally important to us. I mean, many of those interests are not ethnic specific. I mean, education is not. So I appreciate that. Now, all of that falls in our shoulders. And again, we're not doing well at school, and even the school system is not that well either. We're over 50 million right now. We're 16.4%. 6 of every 10 Hispanics today in the US were born here. Meaning, not us, but the rest of the nation has this idea that most of us are immigrants. That's not true. Only 13% of Hispanics have a bachelor's degree. 50, this is very important, this is key. 50% of the people that are eligible to vote, Hispanics, only 50% of those who are eligible are registered. Half don't even care enough to even register. That's 10 million. Because there's 20 or some that are eligible, only 10 are registered. And of those, only 60 vote, sort of regularly. And I'm pretty sure only major elections. 60. That's 28% of those eligible. So how are we supposed to? Well, of course, we're not informed, we're not educated, and we don't care. Every month, for the next 2 decades, every month, 50,000 Hispanic kids will turn 18 and they'll become eligible to vote. That's how important we could be to driving policy. We think about technology and policy being the tools we have to change and drive development. Well, that won't happen if we don't vote and we don't educate ourselves. Voting is not enough, though. Because right now, even those that vote, I'm tempted to say that a lot of us vote based on commercials and gossip and misinformation, right? Because we don't understand anything. And this applies to a lot of people in the US and globally. Meaning, the requirement for science education and knowledge has increased exponentially in the last 20, 30 years. I remember when I was a child and I was going through the science classes and everything was like church. Meaning it was a given, right? Meaning there's 9 planets and that's it, right? Suddenly we send a telescope out of space and now every year we change how many planets there are, right? Now we have dwarf planets and little mini planets and I don't know, and it depends on the day we have 9 or 10 or 8, right? So knowledge is now so fluent, meaning science is making progress so fast that textbooks become obsolete in years, in months, some of them. Knowledge, a few years ago, was a commodity. And I noticed this because I like to cook. And recipes are knowledge, right? And I remember, not so far back, like housewives, right? They had their secret recipes that they wouldn't share with anyone, right? And they would always be the life of a party or whatever. They had knowledge. I mean, that recipe was knowledge, and it was valuable. And just like that, it's not anymore. Why? Because I just Google it. I think 99% of the stuff that I have cooked in the last 2 years came from the internet. And you know what? They're great recipes. And then you get like 20 of them for the same item. And you get ratings, right? Which one's better? And then you see the ratings, oh, yeah, this one, everybody liked that. And then they have feedback. Make sure you don't mess it up, you know? And then photographs, you know? So like my mother-in-law and everybody's so amazed, like, oh, how do you cook it so well and even better than them? Because it's there, you know? Knowledge, now, it's free. Knowledge, it's free. It used to be. The opposite, right? I just mentioned before, education It's not. We all pay for it, and it's very expensive. And if you're sending your child to a public school, you're paying more than in a private. Think about this. But knowledge, it's free. So education is no longer about knowledge. It's no longer about transmitting knowledge. Knowledge, it's there. I was talking to a professor, he's from geology, he was so upset because everybody in his class says, he asked questions, he said, I don't know, but I can Google it. That's what students say. And he's so upset. And I'm saying, he's right, your student's right. Meaning, really, what we want our students to do, and be able to do is use that knowledge and do something useful with it. Meaning, I don't want human USB drives. We don't want that. We want innovators. We want people that create solutions. And that's what we should be teaching them at school. How to solve problems, how to access information, how to process that information, how to distinguish between useless and unreliable information from that is useful. Because that's so critical for our development as a nation. And we don't do that. And that's frightening. So, in terms of the UN defines human development in these sort of categories. And they say for a human, and there's this human development, I like the person that started this whole thing at the Human Nations. And I think it's great because for developing countries, this index really is pushing, or not the index, this initiative from the UN is really pushing nations, developing nations, to promote policy, to really promote human development. And some of their sort of achievements are more kids in developing countries are going to school and getting educated. And they're doing great. And the US has a high index on human development. And based on that, because again, when we're compared to other nations, well, yeah, we're doing better. But I don't think we're doing what we're supposed to be doing for our own well-being and that of other nations, considering that we're the major consumer of energy and resources. So, meaning our well-being and our well-behavior, it really impacts global prosperity. But this is what they say. And again, I'm not criticizing. It works, and it works really well for developing countries. I just think it undermines some of the work we should be doing. Equity, equal rights. Everybody should have an equal right to opportunities, especially to develop healthy, fulfilled lives. So everybody should have access to a job and a job that lasts, and so that they can live a life where they provide enough or what is necessary to be healthy and for their kids to be educated and happy. Sustainability, those opportunities have to be sustainable. Not only within one generation, but throughout other generations. So giving opportunities to some shouldn't sacrifice opportunities for others in the future, or even my own opportunity in the near future. So they need to be sustainable. Productivity, everybody should have the equal opportunity to participate in the production of income for a nation. Meaning they shouldn't be segregated sort of labor sectors. Everybody should have access to the same labor sectors or the same processes of production or sectors of the economy. Everybody should have access. Empowerment, citizens of a developed nation should be empowered to produce change through policy, through leadership. The same with cooperation is related, the sense of community, meaning this sense of and the opportunity to gather and to push for common goals as communities, to have those opportunities. And of course, security of the opportunities, and of course, security of ourselves. And as I see this, I thought, well, there's a two sort of way of seeing this. Definitely, there's some things there that some Hispanics might say, hey, we're getting the short end of the stick. Maybe we need more opportunities to jobs. Maybe we can say, hey, why is Silicon Valley full of Asians and Indians and not Hispanics, right? So we might think that we might be failing there in that. But I really want to see it in a different way. I want to see this, and that's why I added in black. I think the opportunities are there. We definitely can improve as a nation in providing equal opportunity to minorities, not only Hispanics, to minorities. So there's a lot of there we could improve in terms of addressing these needs for minorities. But what is also happening is that we're failing as Hispanics on the other side of that bargain. If we have equal rights, we have equal obligations. as everybody else. So we should vote. So we should be informed. And again, I'm putting it in a very sort of polarized way. Meaning, we can argue we don't do that because now we're properly educated and that sort of stuff. But again, what I'm trying to say, I'm not emphasizing or saying, oh, there's this problem and it's based on discrimination. It's not. I think enough opportunities are there. They're more than the ones we're taking advantage of. That's what I'm trying to say. Would we like more opportunities? Definitely. But the ones that are already on the table, we're not using. So we shouldn't be asking for more until at least we use those properly. That's what I'm saying. Meaning we should create and we should participate in the sustainability of this nation. Meaning we should provide, we should be working on developing technology. We should be considering using less energy as individuals, as a community. We should be aware, we should be sensitive. Our environmental stewardship should be high. We should participate on the production of income for this nation. Meaning we cannot all go work at Walmart and McDonald's. Meaning those are nice companies and thank God they employ so many of us, but we need to move out of there. And we need to encourage our kids to do so. We need to be empowered. Yes, we need opportunities of empowerment, but when we have that power, then we have to do something useful with it. We should be pushing for the right principles, for the right ideas, for the right goals, and we don't do that. We're indifferent. We need to cooperate with each other, and we need to work on the security as well. So in summary, I didn't give you a solution. I emphasized a problem, and Einstein said that identifying the problem was the hardest part of coming up with a solution, right? If we really know what the problem is, then we are in better position to start working on the solution. And I really think that although policy is necessary and technology is necessary, the key to our prosperity is on human behavior. And the human behavior of Hispanics will be crucial. If we don't step up to the plate, our forecast is not very promising. There's this socio-ecological theory in sociology, and I'll close with this. It says, when there's an environment, an ecology, and you have a subject, an individual, two things should happen. The ecology should affect the individual, such that the individual stops being what he was and now becomes something else, affected by the ecology. And the opposite would also happen. The individual will affect the ecology. And this theory, meaning we see it applied and it makes a lot of sense. Meaning it happens with us all the time. Meaning the way we are at work, it's not always the same as we are at home, right? And because the environment is different and the environment shapes our behavior. Well, Hispanics, we came from undeveloped countries. That was our environment. Meaning we came here for a reason, right? We immigrated for a reason. And we immigrated because we were undeveloped, we didn't have opportunities, but but there was a problem there. So we came here, and we came with habits and ways of seeing stuff that were not the proper. I mean, that was the reason that that other environment was how it was. So we came to this developed environment, and two things could happen. This developed environment was gonna develop us, or we are gonna undevelop the environment. One of those two things is going to happen.